afternoon, Ms. Powers, and thank you for sitting with me to share the results of the observation that was conducted on Tuesday, December 3rd, during your small group rotation. During that time, Ms. Powers, some highlights. 94% of your students were engaged, and your learning objective met 3 out of the 3 criteria. That was, your learning objective was measurable, it was bite-sized, and it could be internalized by the students. Ms. Powers, what impact would you say having a measurable and bite-sized learning objective have on your students?
It helps the students focus on my lesson.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Wonderful. Today, Ms. Powers, we will be focusing on having an I do that meets the high leverage criteria. That means it can be delivered in 10 minutes or less. The teacher is going to model replicable steps or think aloud. It's aligned to the learning objective. There are student actions with to include time, body, voice, and then there is a wrap-up. Those are the components that we are going to focus on today in exemplifying a perfect I do. Ms. Powers, I would like for you to take some time to read my model that's aligned to 5.3L. That was the learning objective that was observed on the day during your walk. 5.3L is with regards to dividing unit fractions by whole numbers and whole numbers by unit fractions. I will be using a particular task card, Ms. Powers, to model this particular objective. After reviewing my script, Ms. Powers, for 5.3L, dividing unit fractions by whole numbers, I will ask you a very important question. So I'm going to begin at this time.
Okay.
So Ms. Powers, we are sitting in a small group at your teacher table, and I am going to model the steps of an I do in delivering that particular SC 5.3L.
Okay.
Students, I'm going to model the steps of how to solve this particular question. This question is a task card. While I model, I want you to listen and take notes on your task card tracker. The task card reads as follows. Nadia cut 1/2 of a pumpkin pie into 5 equal servings. What fraction of the whole pie is each of these servings? For this particular problem, students, I need to know what operation is being used. I know that I have to divide. How do I know that I have to divide, students? In the problem, there's a key term. It says equal servings. Whenever we see that term equal serving, it means that we are going to divide. Each serving will be the same. Now let's move to a strategy that helps us keep the information in the problem organized. Students, I want you to have your whiteboards handy. Utilizing our whiteboard, students, we will actually make this table, which will be a strategy to keep the information organized in the problem. This is called keep, change, flip. Using your whiteboard, students, we will create a table at this time. Step 1, we will make the table. So on the table, students, we will divide the table into 3 columns. The first column is going to be titled keep. The second column is going to be titled change. And the third column is going to be titled flip. Step 2. What is it perhaps that we are keeping? We are keeping the total. Referring back to my problem, Nadia cut 1/2 of a pumpkin pie into 5 equal servings. Students, the total is 1/2. We're going to write the fraction 1/2, 1/2. Step 2, we're keeping our total. Our total is 1/2. I'm going to bring 1/2 down. Now we're going to go to the column that refers to change. We did establish that the math operation being performed is division. Here at this stage in our organized table, we will change the division symbol into multiplication. And then continuing with our problem, it says that pumpkin pie, 1/2 of it, will be cut into 5 equal servings. We have the whole number 5. This whole number 5 represented as a fraction is 5/1. We're flipping this fraction. It becomes 1/5. Now we're going to solve this problem. When we are solving multiplication with fractions, we simply multiply straight across. We multiply our numerators first. Students, 1 times 1 is?
1.
Very good. Students, in multiplying our denominators, what is 2 times 5?
10.
Very good. Our fraction now, our answer is 1/10. Our product is 1/10. So that means, students, that 1/10 of our fraction of the whole pie, 1/10 are servings. Ms. Powers, after reviewing my script for 5.3L, divided unit fractions by whole numbers, what is the gap between my script and the model that was used? Was there any gap that you may have seen?
The columns, making a visual to help the students better understand and grasp the concept of dividing a whole number with a unit fraction.
Yes, ma'am. Very good. Very good. Ms. Powers, today we are scripting an I do for a mini lesson to be delivered at your teacher table during your small group rotation. The steps to include are an introduction, replicable steps, a clear model that was presented, student actions to include time, body, and voice. The students were asked to pull out their whiteboards, and just reverting back, Ms. Powers, it should have been at a voice level of 0, and the students were asked to, time, body, voice, the students were asked to, at a voice level of 0, using their whiteboards, they were asked to create a table. And the last part of that component will be the wrap up, the closure. And so with that being said, the students were aware that 1/10 in answering the question, what fraction of the whole pie is each of these servings? 1/10 of the whole pie is the servings. Ms. Powers, at this time, would you please share with me what those action steps are when you are creating that picture perfect I do?
Okay. So we want to introduce the steps, and then we want to make sure we present them a clear model of actions so that they can set up the table. We want to make sure we give them time, body, voice.
Yes, ma'am.
And then once we give them time, body, voice, we can wrap up that small group in less than 10 minutes with a reteach.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Very good. Ms. Powers, would you please write that down for me? Those same action steps. Ms. Powers, may I see it?
Yes.
Wonderful, perfect. As we look towards the upcoming week, Ms. Powers, let's create a script for the SC that you will be tackling, you will be delivering on Monday. That SC happens to be 5.4B. 5.4B, which is going to be Monday's SC, is to be delivered. That SC reads as follows: representing and solving multi-step problems involving the 4 operations with whole numbers using equations where letters standing for the unknown quantity. The script that we will be creating, both you and I, Ms. Powers, will be used at your teacher's table during your small group rotation on Monday. Remember, each time a mini lesson is delivered, a script is to be created with those steps we've discussed throughout. Ms. Powers, do you recall what those steps are?
Yes.
Would you please say those steps for me once
Yes.
again?
Introduce the steps, have a clear model using time, body, voice. After we're done, we wrap up the reteach.
Okay. And then I believe one more, replicable steps. We're gonna have you have introduce it,
Yes.
having replicable steps,
Yes.
our clear model, the student actions, time, body, voice, and
Yes.
wrapping up. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Ms. Powers, at this time, we are going to take 5 minutes to create our script.
Okay.
Once time has expired, we will swap scripts. We will read each other's script and at the end share 2 strengths and 1 upgrade if necessary. If there is an upgrade, we will make the change in the moment.
Okay.
We will reread from the top with the changes so that it is perfect. Remember, we will practice perfect. So at this time, Ms. Powers, you have a sheet of paper there. We are going to script an I do for that SC 5.4B. We will take 5 minutes to do so. There is a question that we will use, Ms. Powers, for that. That question is read as follows. Chad has already saved $12. His mom said she'd give him $5 per week for helping her make the garden. Chad is saving money to buy a video game that costs $47. How many weeks will it take him to have enough money for the video game? At this time, Ms. Powers, I will set the timer for 5 minutes. You and I will, on our own, come up with our own individual scripts on this, delivering this perfect SC, keeping in mind those 5 key components. Okay, let's begin.
Okay. So the steps that I would introduce to the students is to do a first read using the problem solving think aloud and label their units. Because for this particular SE, they're gonna be solving and representing
Okay.
the 4 operations.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead and write everything down. So we'll go ahead and take 5 minutes on our own and we'll go ahead and script.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay. if additional time is necessary, please let me know. I know we're counting down the time here now. It's 10 seconds remaining. If you need any additional time to continue the scripting, I can add some additional time, Ms. Powers.
Okay.
You say you give me some additional time?
Yes, about 2 minutes.
About 2 minutes, okay,
Yes.
wonderful. Say we're finished. We just need a
Yes.
little bit more time.
We're gonna do it.
Okay. Okay. Just finishing up. Okay. So at this time, Ms. Powers, we're going to swap scripts. And remember, as we read, we are going to share out 2 strengths and 1 upgrade once we've completed our reading. Should there be an upgrade, we would make those modifications in the moment, and then once we would then reread from the top with the changes so that it is going to be picture perfect, practice perfect.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm already seeing something that I want to add to mine, Ms.
Okay,
Powers,
okay.
that you have here. Okay, all right. So Ms. Powers, would you like to begin? Are there 2 strengths that you would love to share?
Yes, that I noticed that both of us identified the key words that the students will see when they're reading.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we both have steps to introduce to the students to start off with.
Okay.
And I noticed we both have clear models where you have a strip diagram identifying the total
Yes, ma'am.
and what he has already saved. You have several bar graphs, strip diagrams.
Yes, ma'am.
And to represent how to set up an equation as well as to solve an equation.
Yes, 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 yes. Is there an upgrade that I would need to add to my script?
Well, you pretty much have it in here because you have the key vocabulary, what's important.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
only thing I would upgrade is identifying the word peer
Ah,
equals
okay.
each.
Okay,
The kids
okay.
need to, they're gonna see that
The
quite often.
$5 per week for helping.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. So I would do so. All right. And just reviewing your scripts, so many similarities as well, Miss Powers. You also have with regards to identifying the key vocabulary words as it is written in the SE, the standard itself. And I think that's important. Obviously, the kiddos need to know what those academic vocabulary, what they mean as they're going through. You also have here another strength I love is introducing the labeling and separating the statement units and verbs to better identify the operations. So wonderful. Just as an upgrade, Miss Powers, I would just add just your statement, your answer statement at the end. The question is asking how many weeks will it take him to have money for the video games? Then I would just add an answer statement. Okay, so I will give you your script back to add that change. I'll add the change as you indicated on mine here. Labeling the per. And I'm sorry, Ms. Powers, what did you tell me once again, the per? Each. Yes, ma'am. Okay. All right. I think once we make those upgrades, wonderful. We had strengths that were identified in both of our scripts as well as an upgrade each, and I think that can only enhance the delivery come Monday. And so what we'll do, Ms. Powers, is we're gonna take it live. We'll have an opportunity to read the script, and we're gonna read it. I'll have you read the script, and that's the script, and feel free. This is the script that can be used in your small group rotation, as well as this problem can be used on Monday. So, Ms. Powers, I know it's difficult in regards to reading. Sometimes a print, I can read the script out loud. Would you? Okay. And so this is the script that would be used come Monday. Boys and girls, today we are both representing and solving multi-step problems with whole numbers using equations with a letter standing for the unknown quantity. Before we begin, let's understand the meaning of the following important vocabulary words. So in the SC, we have the term represent. Represent means writing out a full equation. With that, you're suggesting that the letter, which is M in the problem, M is going to stand for the unknown quantity. Yes, and that's another key term. We have the term solving, obviously. This is where we are going to go through those steps. We're going to answer the question, how many weeks will it take him to have enough money for the video game? Multi-step, there's more than one operation being introduced. We have the term four operations. In this case, they're not going to be using all four operations. They will be using two of the operations out of the four. Whole numbers, and we know what whole numbers are. The term equations, two things that are equal, two expressions, one on each side, right, with the equal sign, okay? So those are our key vocabulary words, boys and girls. And so as I continue here at the small group table, that's the vocabulary. These are the vocabulary words that I want to hear from us, okay? Now, just giving a background information, when you guys were in 4th grade, you guys represented multi-step problems. So this is not new. You were already introduced to using strip diagrams and equations. Here in the 5th grade, we are going to continue along that same vein where there is a letter that's going to be standing for the unknown quantity. So at this current grade level, our equations, we are solving, we're representing, and we're solving multi-step problems involving whole numbers. For this particular problem, we're going to use a strip diagram. And so the strip diagram obviously is the model that's going to be used. This is going to help us as a tool to organize the information from the problem. Now, just going back to the problem itself, it reads as follows. Chad has already saved $12. So right now, boys and girls, we know that he's already saved $12. His mom said she'd give him $5 per, and according to Miss Powers' upgrade each, we're going to use that upgrade, each week for helping her make the garden. He is saving money to buy a new video game that costs $47. How many weeks would it take him to have enough money for the video game? As we continue through the problem, let's look carefully at the problem. The teacher reads the problem, in which we just did. He already saved $12. His mom said she'd give him $5 per week for helping her make the garden. He's saving money to buy the video game. That video game costs $47. We're representing this particular problem using strip diagrams. So boys and girls, step 1 in the problem, we're using our strip bar, which represents the whole amount. So there is going to be a fraction bar drawn. That fraction bar is drawn, and that fraction bar represents the entire whole number, which is $47. So we have a total, okay? So far, the whole number amount we need is $47. Step 2, a portion of that whole number, he already saved $12. So then we will put a portion of that, an indication in that whole, that $12 of the 47 has already been saved. So we know that Chad already has $12, so that represents the portion of the 47. Step 3, the remaining amount, that's the amount we know he will be earning. And that amount he will be earning is $5 per week, right? We don't know how many weeks as yet, but we know it's $5 per week. So step 4, our unknown is how many weeks it is going to take him to save up enough money for the video game. And that's what we're trying to solve for. So let's make W, the letter W, the total number of weeks that he would be saving up for. So we know that $5 will be repeated each week. We don't know how many weeks as yet. Once we go through the process and solve it. One way to write the equation, boys and girls, we could say we have a total of 47. So we can have 47 equals 12 that he's already saved, plus we're adding the $5 we know per week, that per, as Ms. Powers offered the upgrade earlier, each 5 times W. So the equation that came out as a result of using the strip diagram could be 47 equals 12 plus 5 times W, okay? There are other possible equations that could be used to represent. We could name those equations. We have one, 47 minus 12 equals 5 times W as well. Okay? So, looking at this, Ms. Powers, we're going to wrap up with regards to utilizing the strip diagram so that we can then select the equation that best represents the problem. The strip diagram will help our students to organize the information, visualize the solution, and understand the role each of those numbers play in the equations. And I believe, Ms. Powers, was there anything else in this? Because what we did was we merged, combined. This will be the script using. Is there anything else that we can think of?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Ms. Powers, we are now at the close of our feedback session. Today we focus on creating a picture-perfect I do that consists of the following key components: the introduction, replicable steps, clear model, student actions to include time, body, voice, and a wrap-up. I look forward to coming to your class on next Monday, December the 9th, during your first block when your small group is happening, so that I may observe that mini lesson being delivered. What would be that perfect time, Ms. Powers, that I could come to your class and observe those key components in the mini lesson?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock?
Yes.
9 o'clock would be the time that you would be delivering at your teacher table?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, perfect. I will come by, Ms. Powers, on Monday, December the 9th, at 9 a.m. during your small group while you're sitting at the teacher table delivering your I do script that was just read to include those 5 key components. Ms. Powers, please state those actions once I come by that I will be listening for.
Okay, you will be listening for the introduction of the steps,
Yes, ma'am.
the clear model using those steps, and the students will be also given a time body voice, and they will close it with a wrap up of the reteach.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Wonderful. And Ms. Powers, that day that I will be coming by in time, what day is that I'm coming by in the time?
On December the 9th at 9 o'clock.
Very good. Great job. I look forward then. Let's go ahead and solidify it, Ms. Powers. I am going to go ahead and pull up on the computer the Outlook invite, and we're going to go ahead and schedule that. Sounds like a plan?
Thank you.
Okay. So the title is going to be Feedback Follow-Up. The attendees, Ms. Powers, of course, myself. Ms. Powers, I'm going to go ahead and include Ms. Richards on this. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. The date is going to be December the 9th. The time is going to be 9 a.m. One moment. 9 a.m. Okay. And it will be your location. Classroom, Ms. Powers' classroom. Okay. And just to stamp those key components, when I come by on Monday, December the 9th, at 9 a.m., I will be listening for
The introduction replica steps, the clear model, using time, body, and voice, the wrap up of the reteach.
actions and closure. Wonderful. And at this time, Ms. Powers, I'm gonna go ahead and hit send. Perfect, we are scheduled. Ms. Powers, once again, thank you. I look forward to seeing you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lewis.